So welcome back everyone. Today I'm on location at a random parking lot I found. It's under freecampsites.net, I believe the website. Anyways, I'm basically doing this overnight camping trip for Hocking Hill State Park. Just spending probably a few days here, but I'm gonna film a video for one of my days. But I arrived here in an evening, afternoon, evening, or whatever. Just so I can get, basically ready for sunrise, hopefully, and get there on time and take advantage of the light, because it looks like it's gonna be a very sunny day tomorrow coming up here. But I just briefly actually went to the John Glenn Astronomy Park, which is pretty awesome. Did a little bit of astrophotography, which is something I don't do too often, at least, but just doing different various time lapses and star trails and everything, just experimenting, having fun with it. And I was listening to this like tour guide, I guess, as he was explaining the different constellations and all their historical meanings and everything with, like, Greek mythology and just their placement in the sky, and had ones like little light beams and everything. So overall, really cool to see all that for my first visit there. And I might go back, with subsequent visits here to the Hocking region. But anyways, tomorrow I'm planning on hopefully doing just taking basically a big old walk around tour, and driving around to the various places in the region, starting off with the really big name ones, like Old Man's Cave, Ash Cave, Cedar Falls, the Upper Falls, the Rock House, just pretty much everything, just kind of getting my feet wet with the whole area, because it is such a popular and well-known touristy destination here in Ohio. So I'm looking forward to all of that, but for now I'm gonna get some shut-eye for the few amount of hours I'm gonna get here. Hopefully less than 7 hours of sleep, and hopefully it's actually some quality sleep at that. So I'm really tired already, just from the drive here and everything. But as you can see, I outfitted the car. It took many weeks to I didn't really do anything like drastically modifying the car itself, but I did add some fairy lights, just to give it that kind of cozy, homey kind of vibe, I guess, like all the van life people do, I guess. And to provide some light back here. It's battery operated by this little switch right back here, 3 AA's, does the job. And I'm outfitted the whole full window kit with all these sunshades, so I have maximum privacy. And not only that, but it actually retains warmth in the winter here. So for late summer, well, now it's actually very early fall, meaning it's it gets kind of warm in the daylight, in the daytime I mean, but these nights can get very cold still. So basically just using this to retain warmth, and also acts on, it's double-sided of course, the other side acts as a sunshade. So yeah, so I'm really tired, so we're gonna set up my sleeping bag and get hopefully a good night's rest at least. And yeah, I will see you all in the morning, and hopefully get out, boots on the ground, and start hiking around and exploring it. So I will see you then, guys. So see you in the morning.
It's about just past 7. That's when my alarm went off. I got about 20 minutes till sunrise, so it's pretty bright out, as you can see right now. I just peeled back one of the sunscreens now, and I'm probably just about ready to take off here in a moment, and go to some parking lot somewhere, and probably eat breakfast. I'm not too concerned. It looks like it's gonna be a clear day out, I think, but we'll play it by ear. Hopefully there's some cloud cover, and that'll make shooting like waterfalls and stuff a lot easier, or at least a lot more desirable, of course. But yeah, slept pretty well, pretty decently, I guess. Once it kind of like calm my nerves, I guess, about being intruded or something, or being told to leave. Didn't have a problem with that. I was warned, I guess. I found online when I was looking for spots that this one said there's a hospital nearby, and I heard a couple sirens overnight. But once I put my earplugs and my face mask, my eye mask, I was pretty much out. So it's pretty nice, pretty easy. So like I said, I'm gonna probably head out here in a moment, and probably, like I said, eat breakfast, and then finally hit the trails and get some actual photography in, so for the day. So it's my first day, looking forward to it. And I guess we'll go ahead and get out and see how it goes for the day. So I'll see you guys in a bit once I drive over there. Whew, it is really, really cold. And I'm not used to it yet, you know, this early in the season. But so I drove around for almost an hour. I had to come an hour from where I slept or whatever, outside of the region. But I'm back in now. I'm just kind of going in blind, I guess. You know, I'm just really found this first trailhead, and it has Cedar Falls and the rim trail to Old Man's Cave. So I mean, this sounds like a good start here for the day. But like I said, it's gonna be sunrise is still happening, so it's kind of like this nice plentiful light. And it looks like as I get probably further into these woods here, looks like I can go on both sides here. So on this side there's Cedar Falls, and then over here is the rim trail to Old Man's Cave. And I don't know if you can hear it from here, but there's water and it's flowing. So I mean, I think I'm gonna go to that Cedar Falls first and see if I can get some long exposure, hopefully. And then I'll check out the other, the other half of it at least. But no one's out here right now, which is great. There's actually a sign over here that says main trailhead and parking for Cedar Falls is 1,000 feet up there. So maybe more people like to park up there. I don't know, but I'm here right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try it out. And while I have this time now, and the light's still looking pretty good overall, before it really becomes a nuisance, I guess, for the day. So I don't know how much photographic opportunities I'm really going to get today, but we will see. But I think today, this first day of the trip, is going to be just a lot of pre-scouting and just checking out the different scenic features and everything, the main attractions, I guess, and just seeing what maybe on a better light day, hopefully, I can take some photographs of different things. So let's go ahead and the trails, I guess. So enough talking, but I was gonna do breakfast first, but I just figured I'm gonna go ahead and head out, and I'll have breakfast a little bit later in the morning. So let's go ahead and get out there. Just when I thought I had the whole, had the whole place to myself, there's someone down here photographing the falls. Typical, but it's okay. I'm gonna probably go down there and shoot alongside him, I guess. Do I really have a choice? I mean, I can move on and go somewhere else, but it's deeply in shadow right now, so I think this might be the most probably desirable time to photograph it. But now that I'm actually down here in this gorge, it's stunning, man. But so the older gentleman actually just left right as I approached over here to the edge of the water here at Cedar Falls, and right now it's perfect. It's honestly as good as it gets, just because, like I said, you can just see all the sunrise light hitting the top of the hemlock trees up here, but they're not hitting the rock face over here and with the waterfall. So perfect time of day for this. I'm really glad I made this the first proper, I guess, stop of the day, and first waterfall I'm going to photograph here in the Hocking region. So it's very beautiful shape. It's something I've seen in photos of online, of course, but just seeing in person, just those photos do not do it justice. And I'm hoping I can do it today, maybe make some sort of justice out of it. I don't know, but yeah, I just really like this it's almost like a teardrop shape, and it like splits down makes like a fork into the rock face there, and it just meets in the middle and drops down in a nice concentrated, very narrow just flow, I guess, to the the water in the pool down here. You got all these old rocks around me, and just all this giant rock face and gorge behind me too, and just everything just combined with all, like I said, the cedar, or the hemlock trees, just really adds into the atmosphere and the landscape around me. The reason why I correct myself for cedar trees is I just read on the sign over here about how early settlers mistook all these trees for being cedar trees that are surrounding the falls here, and actually they're not. There's no cedar trees properly here, at least in this area of the Hocking Hills region. So anyways, enough talking about that. I'm going to talk briefly about camera settings and composition. Naturally, since it's a vertically driven waterfall, like most waterfalls, most of the time at least, I'm going to do a vertical composition, which helps because I have this L bracket on here, so I can just flip it on a dime.
So mounted on a tripod, of course, 2-second timer, a polarizer filter. I may try a neutral density filter. We'll see about that. That's something that I may experiment with here in a moment. And at the moment, just to start off with, taking some images. I'm doing a 16-35 f4 Canon lens on here. I'm zooming all the way at 35 mil, which is still pretty far away considering just how distant this falls is. So, and that's good or bad. It just depends on what you're really, going after with the perspective photograph. Is that it can incorporate more of the landscape in there, or you could have it like nicely tightly cropped in there. And so I'm gonna try both, of course, with my time here. Hopefully not too many people. Just doesn't draw a crowd, which I mean, so far I'm not seeing anyone else, fortunately. So I have plenty of time now to take images here with this wide angle, and then I may switch to like a smaller telephoto zoom lens, or maybe even like a 50mm prime lens, and see how that looks. So I got a lot of options to work with, and using the filters I have available for all those lenses and everything as well. So I also did the electronic level inside my camera, just to make sure the waterfall's nice and level with where I'm standing here and everything. I recommend that's pretty important. Just that way in post-production, sometimes when you load the images on the computer, at least with digital photography, you might see how it's just slightly off-centered, and that stuff just really drives me insane. So it's better to correct that and have it right in camera, in the field, then to later on adjust it in post-production, or even completely forget about it, which would be a real bummer, I think. So for settings, I'm at about 4 seconds right now, just because there isn't much flow to it, but it is a nice kind of like almost artistic flow to it, honestly. But there's not much of like a just rushing white water. 4 seconds is a nice way to emphasize, of course, the detail and the movement into this frame, where everything else is still in the subject here, because it's just all static rock that's just not moving at all, except for the water, of course. And so I'm at f10 just because it is farther away, and I want to incorporate, like I said, with that 35mm focal length. I want to get everything in focus, as close as pin sharp as I can get, but I'm focusing on the mid-ground, with single touch point focus on the back of the camera towards the waterfall. But I want to get everything in focus, just because I am incorporating more of the landscape in there, obviously. And then I'm at ISO 100, so pretty simple. Just just simple setup for what I do with long exposure most of the time. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some more shots here, and I'll show you the results here in a moment. All right, for my next composition here, still using the wide angle lens, but I'm incorporating some foreground elements into the composition here. So I got this fallen just tree trunk. It's not too big of one, but it's just there as a found object. I haven't manipulated the landscape in any way. It's just how it was. But it actually works well in my favor, with creating this photograph, is that because it's lined up perfectly with this, and that elongated, horizontally driven boulder right there, and then the waterfall behind it. So you got these three main elements with the foreground, midground, and background that I'm doing in a vertical composition here. So and I think it works out pretty well, actually. And it's still, like I said, incorporating some of the hemlock leaves and everything, the greenery and foliage behind or surrounding the falls, that is. And it's just giving a nice sense of depth, I think. That's really important, I think, particularly with wide angle landscape compositions, is that you want to have some elements in there to not make it so just static and plain, where it doesn't really feel like a fully just realized photograph, I guess. You want some depth in there, and that's what I'm doing here. And I'm still using a polarizer, but I've adjusted my settings slightly, so I'm at 2.5 seconds, and I'm still at f10 and ISO 100. And the only extra detail I'm really adding to making this photograph here is I'm also focus stacking 3 times, and I'm doing it on the 3 prominent subjects, like I mentioned just a moment ago. So yeah, it worked out pretty well, and I think it's gonna be a nice, fun image to put together there with focus stacking software, and post-processing it accordingly. So I'm gonna take a few more shots here with the wide angle, and then switch lenses, and just experiment and have fun with it, of course. So that's why I'm here, So I'm just gonna keep doing it and see how everything turns out. So I decided to go back to the car now and just take a break. I figured my desire to eat something was outweighing getting any potential photographs, because it's I just had a little meal. What did I have? Energy oats, blueberry banana crunch, and it had like crunchy toppings, like some pecans, some flax seeds, some chia seeds, lots of seeds, I guess. Anyways, it's pretty good. So right now I'm just drinking some morning tea, fully caffeinated. I'm gonna floss brush my teeth, wipe my glasses, and then hit the trail. Alright, so I'm finally hitting the trail again. It's just now 10:30, so it's still in the morning, but as you can see, just deeply in shade because I'm up on the Gorge Overlook Trail. And so it's the red trail, and I believe it's about 2.5 miles from the visitor center. And I'm just overlooking this gorgeous hemlock spruce, just pine stands everywhere, and goes off into this cliff face over here and slopes down. So but the sunlight's already starting to pull through in certain spots, like right over here, making some very harsh highlights and spotty details and highlights. So I'm really not sure about photographs at the moment, but that's totally okay, just because this place is pretty big and I got a lot of ground to cover, and fortunately a lot of time to do it. So I'm not really too much in a hurry to I am eager, of course, to take images, especially all the big waterfalls and everything, but like not in a hurry at the same time. I don't know. So I got my whole pack, all my camera gear, my tripod, everything strapped to my back. One MRE, my jet boil, and some energy bars, namely Cliff bars, my mainstay when it comes outdoors. So I'm gonna keep going here and just enjoy the scenery. It's very, very quiet, besides the occasional kid that's yelling downhill at least. Yeah, like that, if you could hear that. So I'm just gonna keep going here and see what I can find. So this is a nice little surprise. This is one natural feature I didn't see or didn't plan on really getting to look at. It's Rose Lake, or Rose Lake, however you pronounce it. But it says it's on this little trail post over here. It says it's only accessible via hiking trail, and it's a great place for fishing and wildlife viewing. So I could clearly see why. I could see like maybe some osprey or something fishing here, or they showed wood duck and beaver on there as well, on that little signpost over there. But yeah, this is just really, really cool. It's just so nice and peaceful out here. So from here, there's this way over here. Everyone's kind of going this way, so that might be the more popular way. But I don't know if this is another breakaway over here. I honestly can't tell you what this is, but I think I'm gonna go the way everyone else is going and just see how that looks, and just listen to that. I mean, there's some sounds, but it's like very, very just quiet, you know. Very remote part of Ohio, here in the more hillier southwest Ohio, where there's lots of mature, I believe it's mature oak woodland, or just woodland at all. But man, it's just the scenery and everything of late. I mean, now it's early fall, but you know, the foliage is still this green, fully leafed out canopy above me and surrounding me. But I'm starting to question though why I took the Gorge Overlook Trail, because I feel like all the inner details, and I mean, this is beautiful nonetheless, of course, but I feel like I'm missing a lot of the inner details that are down in the lower gorge, and plus the sunlight probably wouldn't be hitting that quite yet until at least high noon. So I'm starting to question why I even took this trail in particular. But I guess, man, I feel like an absolute kid again, just getting all giddy and excited every time I see one of these like pull-offs on, you know, the side of the trail that gives you this just very scenic overlooks at you know, the hilltops and all the tree lines and everything surrounding the Hocking Forest here. It's just really, it's really breathtaking. It's very, very quiet, peaceful. Besides a decent amount of people, you know, walking, hiking around like I am. But you know, they have every right to be here as much as I do. Some of them probably come here every day for all I know, and they live right next door. So, but you know, everyone comes from different walks of life and all that, and different reasons to come here. You know, peaceful, quiet, photography, exercise, whatever. So, anyways, so once I feel like I've kind of scouted everything out, it should be much easier to go and get the photographs maybe on a later time, later today or the next day or the next day after that, simply because I can drive to the many different myriad of parking lots that are surrounding the state park and just quickly go in and get out with the photos at the better times of day or the better light. A moment out, breaking away from all the crowds. I mean, it's pretty insane for a Sunday afternoon, so I can't say I'm surprised. I bet the weekdays, even this time of month, are probably a lot quieter, or at least a little bit more, I'd imagine, especially in the morning and early afternoon. But I've heard even in winter, this place it gets people, but like not quite as much, just because it's simply colder, and I guess there's more risk involved with ice and everything, lining up all the rock face and the gorge and trails. I don't know. Anyways, still very, very enjoyable though overall. Just very, very cool. So I went inside the visitor center, which has like a gift shop. It has like all this different like naturalist information, just cool little facts. These big gorgeous canvas prints of different warblers and other kinds of wildlife that you may see out here in the state park and in the forest. And so I was just checking that out. It took me a good hour, probably, or more, honestly, just reading and just learning about all different kinds of things out there, or that can be out here rather. And yeah, it's just very, very cool to read all that. And it's a very beautiful building, the way it's just all designed and everything. So I did that and got a quick stop for some water there because they had that. And yeah, just checked it out. It was really, really neat to learn more about the region itself. Stuff I didn't know about, like how this is part of a giant part of Ohio here in southeast and south central. It's like called blackhand limestone, which is a type of limestone that was here with all the glaciated part of Ohio, and now with all this eroded away and everything, made all these different gorge habitats that you see here in ecosystems. And now the remnants are stuff like slump box, just different, like the Devil's Bathtub, which I checked out just a little bit ago. And yeah, it's very, very cool stuff, and the recessed cave of Old Man's Cave and everything here. So I'm checking that all of that out. Was really, really cool, because that's what I went to straight after, which is the most popular destination and trails. And it was just people, big crowds, and lined up, and we're all packed in there like sardines. And I'm trying to make my way through and get some video footage and everything. Wasn't really quite motivated to take any proper photographs with the camera, which is totally cool. I think I'm gonna go here maybe later today or another day and try out some images then, I think, once the light has fully gone away from the inside, basically in the interior of the gorge itself. Because I was right, now that I've gone in the inner gorge in the rim trail, I'm now seeing all the different beautiful geological features that are present here in the state park, and stuff that you don't really get to quite see as much on the upper rim, although the upper rim has great hiking opportunities. But didn't quite see the Old Man's Cave, of course, didn't see the Devil's Bathtub, or the upper falls with the bridge crossing and everything, which and the pool of water underneath it. But everything kind of had just all these people around it, so, and the lighting was just not even that pleasant overall, so it wasn't even worth it for me to take any images, which is honestly, it's okay. I mean, if the lighting was better and there's people in the way, it's like I'd probably be a little more patient and adamant about waiting around for them to leave or something, and then trying to fire off a few shots. But you do what you gotta do, and I can't say I'm surprised, given what I've heard about other people's experiences here. And so from here, I'm just on the kind of the one end of the red trail. I'm gonna see where it takes me, but from here I think I'm gonna go back to the car at the Cedar Falls parking trailhead. But yeah, it's very, very busy. It's very fully packed out. A parking lot here in the main lot over here behind me. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep hiking here. It's I think it's about 3 miles back to that trailhead I just mentioned, and probably take a little break for an hour or so. I don't know, maybe eat something, have lunch, and maybe read a book. I don't know, just kind of take it easy. Or I may get more motivated, and once I reduce my pack weight, which is really, really heavy right now, then I may actually go to some other trails around here, like at least in the region. Like there's Cantwell Falls, which is the northernmost point of the Hocking Hills area, and Conkle's Hollow would be a cool one to check out. So maybe we'll do that one eventually, but we'll see here. I'm just gonna take my time, as I have been, which luckily I have more than enough time to scout around and just see what's really out here. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying my visit. It's definitely delivering on amazing photo, I guess, opportunities potentially, and it's just a matter of being patient for them when they're at their best and then taking those images, like I did at Cedar Falls this morning when no one was there really as much, at least when I first got there, and the lighting was nice. But anyways, I've rambled enough. I'm gonna keep going here, and I'll hike around and talk to you in a bit. This is just one of those days where it feels like I'm doing more of cooking than photography. That's okay, because I have vegan black burrito. It's like a mix, and I just add the soft shells. It's pretty good, not gonna lie. I'm just such a strenuous hike. I did probably like, feels like maybe 8+ miles. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the evening. I might go to the main trailhead at Old Man's Cave, and then do the long exposures then when, you know, it really gets the evening light. So I think it's gonna be my next plan. I'm gonna drive over there, of course. I'm not gonna hike all the way back, but I think this is my next plan of attack. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat this and just hang out for a bit here at the car. I think I realized that the secret ingredient is to taking photographs at Hocking Hills is to just wait until it's, you know, really, really dark and everyone leaves. It's pretty great actually. So, and plus the lighting is just gonna be naturally better in the evening than it will be at midday when it, you know, it's as busiest. So it actually kind of worked out in my favor, I guess. So I'm walking by Devil's Bathtub again. I already did it. I made like, this is like my 3rd loop around here, I think, for the entire day. Might be 4th, honestly. I lost track. But I just nailed some of the upper falls of Old Man's Cave, and those shots turn out really, really good. They kind of match the same compositional style that the Cedar Falls ones I did earlier this morning are like. Oh, there's, get down these stairs, where there's 3 main elements. It's a vertical composition. There's a foreground, midground, and background, and waterfall. I think in both of them, both subjects, that is the midground, believe it or not. So this shot's turned out great. I did a combination of focus stacking twice for the foreground element to make sure that's in pin sharp, and as well as the focusing on the waterfall, which got the background detail, mid and background, that is. And then I did bracketing for exposing for the smallest little sliver of sky that was in there, or on there, and then the basically everything else in the mid and foreground there. Excuse me, I'm out of breath, tired. It's been a long day, but it's been very rewarding now that I've waited patiently, hiking around the park, scouting, finding out what subjects and where they are, more importantly. I'm finally actually getting them all, so it's pretty awesome. And right now I'm here, it's about half an hour until dark, or until sunset, and it's getting really dark inside the recessed cave here, and literally no one else is in here right now, so got the whole place to myself finally, which is awesome. Alrighty everyone, that wraps up one of my most anticipated locations, and I hope you enjoyed it. I took not as many photos as I wanted to, but I took enough, and the ones I did take were, I think, be really high quality, portfolio worthy images. So I'm really glad I got to finally come here and hike around and take some photographs. So thanks so much for watching everyone. This has been Hocking Hill State Park,